My name is Peter Brudinger, and I'm here with Joe Lavarchuk from Critical Mass Systems. Joe, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking me to come. I really appreciate it.
Well, we wanted to introduce the viewers to your center stage feet technology. Viewers, the center stage footers are feet that you put under your audio components. Joe, tell us about center stage. What made you think of this technology?
Well, I've been working with rack systems, other suspension systems for a very long time, and we started around the year 2000. So I mean, 19 years of doing this, and I felt like with our Olympus rack, we'd kind of taken the whole genre up to a phenomenal limit. We were really getting great performance. You and I have spoken before, and I've said I'm a purist. And what I mean by that is I believe that the focus of what I do is the electronics, the turntables, whatever's put on the equipment, my equipment. What we're trying to do is take that component up to its engineering limit. There's a design potential in there, and we want to get it to that. So, so building racks, building amplifiers.
So that
stands,
gives you the experience and the wherewithal. And yes.
So what else could we do? All right. So most racks and those kinds of things work on the first law of thermodynamics, which is just kind of converting vibration to heat. We all know that. Well, there's another way of looking at it. That's the second law of thermodynamics, and what that has to do with is looking at a component as a unit of concentrated energy. I mean, you plug it into the back, right? So you've got electricity coming into the back. It's concentrating energy on the inside of it. But because we have loudspeakers, and the loudspeakers create an energy field, that energy field seeps into the component. You know, we've said this a lot, many times before. You've heard it many times before. But it enters that component. It can come up from the floor. It can come in from the sides. It can come down from the top. And it builds more energy in that component, and that degrades the performance of the component.
Okay.
All right. So what we wanted to do, my son is a PhD electrical engineer. We were talking about this. What could we do to kind of do something that no one else has done before and take it to a new level? And he said the magic word entropy, and that magic word it can be simply put this way: that a concentrated unit of energy tends to want to spiral into a state of disorder. Now, when you introduce more energy into it, you accelerate the process. So what we wanted to do is build a device that would actually reduce entropy to slow down. You can't eliminate it, but really affect and slow down this spiraling effect. Remove the degradation and get the components up to their operational limit. So center stage does three things, and it does it really well. First of all, it will mitigate vibration that's coming up from underneath it. It will tend to burn all that off. Secondly, and I think you'll hear this in your system, and by the way, you have a great system, but I think what you'll hear is that the center stage cancels out its own noise. So what I mean by that is, we know in this business that everything does something. Well, we try to build something that has no thumbprint. So what does that do for you? What that means, if we're doing our job correctly, is that audio note sounds like audio note, solution sounds like solution, something else sounds like something else. You can really hear the engineering within there because we're not interfering with it. And then the third thing it does is it does, in fact, transfer disorder out of that component. It gives a pathway downward. And we're kind of showing you, how it's built and that kind of thing. It's unique. One thing that it does when you think about transferring disorder out of a component, inherent to the second law of thermodynamics is this notion of time. It takes time to dissipate disorder or excess energy out of a concentrated unit because we're going to develop a different pathway. That takes time. So these feet, when you put them into your system, it takes about 10 to 14 days for them to really start working up to their potential, which gets your component up to its potential. So what you're going to hear and we tell everybody this. It's very well documented. We've done a lot of reviews. There's a lot of discussion about it on the forum. But what we tell people is, put these in your system, and you can expect it to degrade. If your system is this good, it has a tendency to do this. It may not happen the first day, but it will happen. We always tell people that, and it'll kind of dip down, and then it'll come up higher. When you get your components closer to their engineering potential, you can definitely hear it. I mean, there's magic in those components, and you can hear it coming out of the loudspeaker.
Oh, very interesting. And in the product lineup, where does the center stage component fit in say, price per value, performance? What would you say?
To me, it's the most important product we've brought out, and I'll tell you why. I know that's a strong statement, but I'll tell you why. I think that it returns a great deal of value in performance for the price. Most of our equipment, it's pretty expensive. I mean, it's really technical. The machining is to the nines, and that kind of runs the price up. It's a fact. But we can offer these to customers at a much lower price, and the return on their investment is phenomenal.
Well, I'll tell you, the proof is in the listening, and the proof is in the install. So, we're going to show the viewers the feet, and Joe's going to be down doing the install. We're going to do that next, viewers, and then what we're going to do is we're going to wait 14 days, and then we're going to evaluate what the changes to the system are, and then we're going to give you an A/B. We're going to do it with the feet in and with the feet out. So let's go up and install them. Here we go.
Let's go. The center stage comes in 3 different sizes. This is the littlest one. It's a 0.8, and it's just under an inch tall. And then the next size up is a 1.0. It's a 1 inch tall. And the biggest one that we have is the 1.5, and it is 1.5 inches tall. So what we're trying to accomplish, and I think I said on a previous video recording that we did that I'm a purist. And what I meant by being a purist is what I care about are the components and trying to help these components getting to their engineering capacity. The engineering in the side of these components is absolutely spectacular. There's just no 2 ways about it. And what we found is that in general, the feet that are on the market actually prevent the component from being as good as it could possibly be. So what we're trying to do is create a device, create a component that goes underneath these that helps bring them to their engineering limit. So we have the 3 sizes. Why do we have 3 sizes? Because what we're trying to do, number one, is get the feet of the component off of the surface. So we need a flat surface. The feet are going to be on that flat surface, and then we're going to recommend the foot that just gets those feet off. We want to lift them up in the ground. We want the bottom of the component to be in intimate contact with this top. Inside of here is a gasket right at the top, and that gasket has to touch the bottom of the component. Now sometimes, and we sell them in sets of 4, sometimes the surfaces aren't level, sometimes the component bottoms actually aren't level. So we provide, with each set of 4, 3 shims. And these can be slid underneath the foot. In other words, kind of like that, if you needed to do it. This is, I believe, a 1/16 of an inch. And then we have a 32nd of an inch. And we have a 64th of an inch. So 3 different sizes. Just slide the one under that brings that 1 foot up in contact, and you're good to go.
The system for today's test includes the Cube Nenufar loudspeakers, the Audio Note Level 5, Level 6 digital system. We have 2 power supplies for both the transport and for the DAC that are outboard, and the Aries Surratt Janus amplifier. let's start the test. With the feet in. Okay, let's remove the feet and start the track over.
one more. And start the track over. just heard was very, very different from when the feet were in. We lost space between the instruments. We lost a little bit of image density. We lost a little bit of low frequencies. And the overall spatiality that's in that recording, it was diminished with the center stage feet removed.
And so here we are, 14 days later. Joe's visited to talk a little bit about what did I hear. He's going to pick my brains, he's going to ask me some questions. So what I'd like to do is say, what would you like to know?
There's a lot of things I would like to know.
Well, you know, I think that the product is exceptional. It's exceptional because if you want to expand your soundstage and lower your noise floor and not spend $1 gazillion, this is what you need to do.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So the reason that we're doing this, it's like Peter and I are changing places. It's something new, something different, because I wanted to get his objective opinion or subjective opinion about what we've done. And so I wanted to interview him. So that's why I'm sitting here where he normally sits, and he's sitting there where I normally would sit.
Okay.
So I have a phone here with a bunch of questions I want to ask him.
Okay.
All right, so here we go. All right. So I said some outlandish things in the first part of this videotape, and one of them was settling time. I said it would take 10 to 14 days for this equipment to settle, and I wanted to get your opinion. Did it actually happen? And tell the truth.
Well, I absolutely will. And when we put the technology and we put the center stage technology in, the next day, we installed it. We did a little listen, and you don't know, you have someone here, and when a reviewer has a manufacturer visit, you're kind of on pins and needles. You want the manufacturer to do his install and get his equipment set up right. You don't want the manufacturer to kind of influence you and say, oh, do you hear this? Do you hear that? I don't want that. I want to make those decisions on my own. So it's the next day is when I really get the feel for what did the device under test do. Critical mass, and Joe claims and asserts, it can take up to 14 days for the technology to be effective. And he said you can have a dumbed down period. And you've heard that in the beginning of the video, and you're going to hear more about it. Joe will talk a little bit more about it. What I heard on the next day and the next day following was a little softening of the stage. Just a little bit of softening. And I thought to myself, I am waiting, I got 14 days, so is this as bad as it gets? Because he says it can get bad. He says you can install the footers, and then immediately they're going to go, I want them out. I did not feel that. I did not feel that at all. I felt that I wanted to hear what they were going to do. And boy, did they. So yes, I did hear the first day, second day, and the third day, I began to hear the details start to blossom. It just started to blossom.
Did you get fluctuations in frequency, in balance? Did you feel like tipped up, tipped down?
No, it's funny, I didn't. And we were talking about this before we shot the video, and Joe thinks that maybe it's because the system's a very good system. It's an extremely revealing system.
But I want to jump in, and I want to say this to anybody who's considering center stage feet. Your system could degrade immediately when you put them in. This was an exception. And I'm glad it turned out that way, and that's really nice. But it can degrade immediately, and it would take 10 to 14 days to rebuild. We've also had experiences where people put them in, and the first day they sound fantastic, and then the next day it degrades. In your case, it didn't. And truly, it's great equipment. So it can vary, but the one point I wanted to make is that there's an inconsistency in the improvement period. But the improvement period is worth waiting for? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, next question.
All right, the next question is, another outlandish thing that I said was, the feet did 3 things, and I'm reading this off my phone, obviously, extremely well. I said extremely well. Number 1, they lower the noise floor, which is the first law of thermodynamics. Did we lower the noise floor? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 2. I said they cancel out their own noise, which is material science. And the important thing for that is, from my perspective, is that this is audio note and Aries. That audio note will always sound like audio note. Aries will always sound like Aries. You don't hear the feet. There's no thumbprint. It's the engineering from the component that is coming out and what you're hearing from your loudspeakers. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay.
Okay.
And then number 3, I said that they, and this is really crazy, they transfer disorder, this is entropy, out of the component. That's the second law of thermodynamics, and that's what's new in these feet that other feet don't do. And this is the feature that takes time. We are used to 10, 20-second comparisons. Good, bad, get it out. I don't want it.
Yeah.
Would you agree that something is happening that takes an extended period of time?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yes, for me it was days. It was not 14. Did not need the full 14.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Then that's a good thing.
Okay.
All right. Another really important thing for me in designing the feet was truth to engineering. And by truth to engineering, I mean engineering of the audio component and engineering that the recording engineers put into the media that you're listening to. What we're trying to accomplish here is to get those features that to come out of the loudspeakers. You know, I said I was a purist. I won't go back into that other than to say the most important thing to me is that the engineering in the components, I'm pointing at components that are off screen here, I apologize for that, but the engineering in the component is coming out of the loudspeakers because my focus is the component. So
What's the question?
The component, the question is the total immersion effect. Okay, what that is, in plain English, is this sensation that when it's on the recording, that you feel like you're being surrounded by the sound, that you're in the soundstage as it has been recorded. Did you ever feel like that was occurring?
It occurs in the system all the time, and that's why I'm a reviewer, because I get the best out of components. I have a very trained ear. I've been doing it for 35 years. I know where to put speakers in a room. This system gives you that halo surround effect. It was simply enhanced. I got more of it, and I got more detail throughout the boundaries of the soundstage and the images within the soundstage. The density increased because the noise floor was lowered. I got more of a halo effect because I could just hear more detail in a very natural way. Answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to go back to my objective. My objective is to help the components work closer to their engineered design potential. I believe that over the past 10, 15, 20 years, components have made tremendous improvements in engineering.
I agree.
We're dealing with people who are geniuses, right?
A lot of these people are.
Right.
Yes, correct.
The best of the best.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Did we get them closer to their design potential? Did you hear anything that would be a negative?
Yes, because
yes, it's a negative, or yes, it's
no.
better?
Yes, it's a positive. I'm hearing more of the signature of the Aries Surratt. I'm hearing more, and we've also used an audio note front end too, and amplifiers, but the digital is got the center stage on it. Did I hear differences between before and after, and what did they do to the character of that individual component? I've heard Aries Surratt in many systems, many show exhibits. I hear audio note all my listening career. Yes, I believe that what they're doing is they're giving me more of that essence of that specific thing that an audio note amplifier is known for. Naturalness, natural decay, musicality, and involvement. So do I feel more involved? Do I feel more of a signature of what I hear at shows? And because you get an ear for these components. You get the sound of the house sound. Did I feel that I got a little bit, did it strive a little bit more into that house sound? Yes.
Next question. I said they perform better as they get taller. Did you have an opportunity to hear that?
I did not test back and forth tall. I'll say this, that the amplifier has the talls, and that the scuttlebutt that I've heard on the internet is that you do get
more of the effect with the taller and the larger. But I did not test that.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
All right. You'll have to trust me on that. That actually
Okay.
is true.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to get into this sense of percentage of improvement, and it's really hard to get into because it's personal. We all evaluate systems differently. Is there anything that you could say from your point of view that would express to the listeners what percentage of improvement or how much improvement you got or anything?
Well, I look and I evaluate audio equipment system changeovers and new amplifiers, new cable technologies, new feet technologies. Do I get more involvement and enhancement of what the system's already doing? So if the system is properly set up like I try to get my systems to be, do I get more of that? Am I getting more? And absolutely, and I think that's the hallmark of the Center Stage product, is that it's going to bring out more, and it's going to give me, from a percentage standpoint, that's a hard thing to pick. I mean, we can say, and people have said over the years, that, oh my gosh, I hear a 20% increase, or I hear a 30% increase, and I say, no, I can't say and put a number on it, but I can say, does it increase it where I want it to increase it, and does it do it considerably? So considerably would be 100%. Did it make 100% improvement in sound staging and lower noise floor? I'd have to say yes. Was an incremental 10%, 30%? No, but for what I'm looking for that extra. That's why we are in this hobby. We're listening and for detail that is in the recording, that was at the natural in the original recording session, or engineered into the recording through sound staging and through the control boards during the recording process. Do I get more? Do I get more of what I'm looking for? And what we're looking for is magic, quietness, detail, image density. So 100%? Do I get 100% increase in those things and take it me a step further? Yeah, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
Let's get into money. Let's get into money.
Okay.
All right. So the feet that are in this system, this system costs about $400.
This system here is a $500,000 system that we've evaluated it in. I also have an additional $500,000 of audio note amplifiers in the back that you did not see in the earlier shoot because it's hard to get the feet back in there. And so, yes, it's a $500,000 system.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
So the value of the feet that we put in is $10,080, 10080,
Okay.
into a $500,000 system.
Okay, we have the feet under 1, 2, 3, 4 digital front end components and the integrated amplifier, the Airy Surratt. So it's absurd. I mean, it's like almost no money to spend if you have a system at this level. I mean, Joe, it's a no-brainer. I mean, why would you not do it? Why would you not?
Well, I think, and I'm stuttering, I apologize for that, but most people would think that when you get into that dollar amount of a system, that you wouldn't get much improvement from something that's just a foot. As a matter of fact, I could ask you, when we first put this in, did you expect that much of an improvement? I'm not sure what your answer would be.
Well, I did, because you've been in the business a long time. You have partnerships with dealers and distributors, and manufacturers globally who are at the top of the game. Solution, Magico. You're in these rooms. They're using your technology. They're using your, they're using your stands. Now you've come out with this technology. I did expect something, and I expected something great, because you do deliver great. So there you go. I mean, so yes, it met my expectations because of how he explained it from the day one, from the beginning of the video, before I had a chance to really listen. This is a unique video, viewers, because you got to hear me and Joe before I heard it, just kind of like learning about it. So you've learned with us, and you've been on the journey with us. So yes.
I want to tell you one thing that's really interesting. It's like when I said to Peter at first asked me to come here and just put them under the amps. And then I said to Peter, of course I brought more. It was the ambush.
They do that to us.
Yeah, all the time.
Yes, they do.
But you should have seen the look on his face. His face was like he'd just been held up in Times Square. It was just unbelievable. It was like, I said, we're going to put him under everything. Anyway, at the end result, were you okay with what you...
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. These are a must audition or pretty much a blind purchase. I mean, if you have a big system, you need to start purchasing these feet, putting them under your components. You want to do it under. The goal is all. So you want to get it under your front end. You want to get it under your amplifiers, and occasionally under different applications, they can go under loudspeakers as well. But
sure, and that's why I ambushed him, because
Yeah.
I wanted him under everything, because that's the way you really hear it. And I will say this, and Peter can't really speak to this, but I can. From just experience, if your system is not at that level, these feet underneath common, ordinary components can elevate your system the same 100%. There's no difference. The engineering improvement in all components over the last 10 years has been spectacular and phenomenal.
Yeah, parts quality.
Yeah, it's all been great. So don't be afraid. I promise you it'll work.
Oh,
So, is there anything you want to ask me?
When are you going to deliver the next 20 feet that we need for the balance of the system?
In about 2 weeks.
There you go. Well, viewers, thanks for watching this this show. It's been really a full show on the center stage technology feet from
Critical Mass Systems.
That's
I
right.
really appreciate it.
Yep. So, thank you again. Peter Berninger reporting for AV Showrooms with Joe Leverchuk from Critical Mass.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye.